Think back to when you were a child, taught you how to fight for yourself, how to speak up when your needs were ignored, or how to protect your spirits when the world pressed in, and as you grew, the world grew louder. Louder than your voice, louder than your intuition, until you stopped listening to yourself. No one pulled you aside and said, "There's something inside you that can rise above all this noise." But it won't if you keep avoiding discomfort. Instead, they told you to stay quiet, to follow the rules, to seek approval, to be nice, to be loved. And slowly, you forgot that there's a different kind of freedom. The kind you don't inherit, but build. The kind that doesn't ask permission, the kind that hurts before it liberates. Friedrich Nietzsche called it the will to power. Not power over others, but power over yourself. This isn't motivation. This is your war. And your opponent is every soft excuse you've ever believed before. So ask yourself, who am I when no one is watching? Do I follow, or do I command myself? When you live in a world where you can do almost anything, you can wake up whenever you want, skip class, quit your job, scroll 4 hours, eat whatever, watch whatever, be whoever. It feels like drift. It feels like dopamine on autopilot. It feels like days blending into each other. You go to bed wired, you wake up numb, and somewhere between your 5th scroll and your 3rd coffee, that thought hits you. I'm not in control, I'm just reacting. But if you're honest, really honest, you know it is not what you want. It doesn't feel like real freedom. Psychologists call it autonomy, without agency, the illusion of freedom, without the structure to turn desire into action. You're free to do anything, sure, but you are actually missing the important thing and wasting time unconsciously. That's not freedom. That's slavery to comfort. Friedrich Nietzsche said, "He who cannot obey himself will be commanded." And that's the thing they never told you. If you don't command yourself, the world will. Your cravings will. Your fear of failure will. You will be overwhelmed by it. Nietzsche saw it coming. He didn't define human nature by the pursuit of pleasure, like Freud did. He said the deepest drive inside us isn't for comfort, it's for power. But not power over others, not domination, not status, not likes. The power to master yourself, the power to wake up when you said you would, to finish what you start, to say no when it's easier to say yes. Nietzsche called it the will to power, and it's the most misunderstood idea in all of philosophy. Will to power, according to Friedrich Nietzsche, is the central concept in his philosophy. It refers to the fundamental and most powerful drive that motivates human beings and all forms of life. Here, power is not merely political power or domination over others, but primarily signifies inner strength, self-mastery, and the ability to rise above and take control of one's circumstances. In Nietzsche's Also sprach Zarathustra, the prophetic figure Zarathustra declares, "Wherever I found life, I found the will to power." This will, this inner force isn't loud. Nietzsche saw the will to power as a deep psychological force, the raw drive behind every ambition, every desire, every purpose we chase. It is the power that terrifies us, because it demands more courage, more responsibility, more truth. It's about becoming more than you are, not because someone told you to, but because something inside you refuses to stay small. It's the reason we endure pain, why we push through suffering, why, at times, we're even willing to face death, if that's what it takes to prove the strength of our will. To Nietzsche, this isn't weakness. This is the essence of life itself, not to survive, but to rise. And here's the twist Nietzsche reveals. You won't find this power in a motivational speech. You'll find it in discomfort, in disciplined repetition, in silence, because freedom isn't the absence of discipline. It's the presence of a discipline that serves you, not a prison, a foundation. In Nietzsche's philosophy, the will to power is the deep-rooted desire to rise and assert one's inner strength at every level of existence. And the person who builds it, that's who you become. Freud believed that deep down, You want pleasure. Carl Jung believed you want wholeness. But Nietzsche, the spirit of Nietzsche, people act not just to survive, but to overcome their weakness and become powerful. He believed something far more dangerous. You want power. Not power to dominate others, not power to manipulate, but the power to become more than what you are right now. The power to shape yourself, to rise, to overcome. Freud said your choices are rooted in a search for pleasure, libido, satisfaction, release. Jung said you're driven to integrate your shadow and become whole. Nietzsche said, that fire inside you, it's not lust, it's not balance. It's the will to power your inner demand to grow, to expand, to transcend your current self. And here's the part no one talks about. All three were right. Because real power isn't outside you, it's hidden inside you. Rather, you're afraid of face it. It's something unpleasant deep in your mind. But you only find it when you face what you've been avoiding. Nietzsche urged us to acknowledge and embrace our will to power, not to repress it under the weight of slave morality. He challenged the idea that strength is something to be ashamed of. Instead, he saw it as the raw force that drives us to rise, to create, to become. In many ways, this mirrors what Carl Jung taught, that each person must confront their inner shadow, the parts of themselves they deny or hide. The desire for power, for control, for aggression. Jung didn't say reject it, he said, face it. Because only when you confront the darkness within, can you truly step into your full potential. Most people today aren't evil. They're not broken, they're just distracted. They ignore the important things that are really necessary to them. Trapped in dopamine loops, scrolling for hits of validation, chasing tiny pleasures, while their potential dies quietly in the background. It was a peaceful death. That's the lesson for you. You don't get stronger by avoiding pain. You get stronger by choosing the right kind of pain. The kind that forges discipline, the kind that clarifies your values. The kind that says, I won't live my life on autoplay. I will not let myself drift like this anymore. Will to power in the 21st century. It's the decision to create internal structure when the world offers none. When you get hooked on unhealthy dopamine, ask yourself, do I really need it? It's saying no to the dopamine buffet that weakens you. Choose to start with small actions that bring you spiritual value. As Nietzsche said, will to power. Those small things will later be a great source of power that makes you stronger. It's waking up at 6 a.m. because you promised yourself you would. It's building habits when motivation dies. It's choosing silence over noise, depth over performance, identity over image. Nietzsche didn't write self-help books. He wrote wake-up calls. For the souls who feel something stirring beneath the surface. For those who know they're meant for more but don't yet know how to rise. So here's your reminder. You don't need more hacks, you need power. And you don't find power, you build it one hard choice at a time. Because in a world that wants you docile, entertained, and addicted ... choosing structure is a revolutionary act. When you realize your will to power, you don't need another motivational quote. You don't need someone to tell you you've got this. Because deep down, you already know what you need. You need to build power inside you, not the kind that comes from applause from anyone. Not the kind that fades when no one's watching. You need the kind of power that builds in silence, in the cold, in the early mornings. When you choose structure and discipline over chaos. When you stand up instead of continuing to scroll through social media. When you fight for the life you said you wanted, you start planning to do something small. That plan is so detailed that it's as simple as writing a few lines in your diary. Just knowing that you are doing what you really want to do. That's the will to power. It's not about ego. It's about earning your own respect. It's about becoming someone you don't need to escape from. This is your war, a reminder that you were made to rise. You don't need more time. You need more truth. And the truth is, your discipline is your freedom. Your habits are your identity. And your willpower. It's not missing. It's just waiting. for you to stop running from it. So if you're ready to stop watching other people live their lives and start building yours, subscribe, because this isn't about perfection. It's about power. And the only way to have it is to become it. Thank you for looking.